All right, let's jump right in. You've probably heard it a million times, right? That famous, kind of baffling saying from the Bible, the one about a rich person, a camel, and the eye of a needle. I mean, for centuries, people have been scratching their heads over this one. What does it really mean? Well, the source material we're digging into today, it flips the whole thing on its head with a perspective that I can almost guarantee you've never heard before. So the speaker we're analyzing, they actually agree. They say, yep, it is difficult, but, and this is a huge but, the reason why has absolutely nothing to do with being good or evil or some kind of divine punishment. No, the real answer, they say, is tied to, well, a kind of cosmic job description. And that's exactly the mystery we're going to unpack. So, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at the classic camel and needle problem. Then we're going to zoom way, way out to a cosmic scale to understand our purpose here. After that, we'll focus on the specific job of the rich. And finally, we'll get to what heaven actually is in this whole picture. All right, first up, the camel and the needle. So let's get right to it. What's the real deal with this saying? If it's not about punishing someone for having money, then what is it? The source we're looking at points to something completely different. The idea here is that the problem isn't about morality at all. It's about failing to do your job. You see, in this view, wealth isn't just cash or assets. It's a type of energy, and it comes with a massive responsibility. So the difficulty isn't a punishment, it's the consequence of failing your specific mission. Okay, so if we have a job, we need to understand where we're working, right? And this is where things get really, really wild. According to this perspective, our entire galaxy, it's not at all what we think it is. Got this. Our galaxy is described as a kind of cosmic school, or maybe even a prison. It's a self-contained environment, and we're all here for a very specific reason, to learn and to grow. The ultimate goal isn't to just live here forever. The real goal is to graduate, to achieve what's called Heital, or true liberation, and actually get out of the galaxy. And that brings us to this key term, Heital. It's a Korean word, and it means liberation or release. It's the whole point of our existence here. Think of it as completing the curriculum of this cosmic school and finally being free from its confines. So, if this place is a school, then who are the students? Well, hold on to your hats for this one. The source claims that we, you and me, are originally gods. Yeah, our true state is divine. We've just put on these human suits, these physical bodies, to come to this training ground and do a very specific kind of work. And what is that work? It's something called infinite discernment. It's an ability that is totally unique to us as humans. It's our power to experience, feel, and tell the difference between a zillion different things. Every sensation, every thought, every emotion. And apparently, this is something our original God selves can't do. It's our core function. So think of it like an assembly line for energy. First we discern, we experience the world. Then we think about those experiences. After that, we express those thoughts. And this whole process actually creates something. It produces a very real, though non-physical, energy. And what is this energy? The speaker calls it quantum energy. Basically, every piece of knowledge, every work of art, all the wisdom we've ever accumulated as a species, that's all a form of this energy. We're not just living our lives. We are actively producing the raw materials needed to build and run the celestial world itself. Okay, so let's bring this all back. We're here to create quantum energy. But how does that connect back to rich people and camels? Well, this is where it gets into a sort of spiritual physics. It's all about mass. You see, wealth is seen as an energy. And just like gravity pulls objects with more mass toward it, this financial energy naturally flows to people who have a larger spiritual or energetic mass. It's not random. It's a fundamental attraction. So if you're a rich person, you're someone with a lot of this energetic mass, and your cosmic job isn't just to have that wealth. Your job is to manage it. You're supposed to be a steward, guiding that powerful flow of society's energy for the good of everyone. But here's the trap, right? Someone with a lot of mass attracts all this energy, this wealth, but then they forget why it came to them. They stop being a manager and they just become a warehouse keeper. They hoard the energy. They don't circulate it for the collective good. And by doing that, they completely fail their mission. That is the cosmic failure we're talking about. All right, let's tie this all together now. We've talked about our job. We've talked about wealth as energy.
Now let's talk about heaven and that famous eye of the needle.
And this might just be the biggest bombshell of all. According to this teaching, getting into heaven, it's not a challenge, it's not a test. In fact, everyone goes. Every single human, after their final life, goes to the celestial world. Entry is 100% guaranteed. So for centuries, we've literally been asking the wrong question. The goal isn't getting into heaven. The real goal is finding your proper place once you're there. What's at stake is an entry. It's your rank, your role, your position in the celestial hierarchy. And that is determined by the work you did on Earth. Think about it. Your life here determines everything for your life there. It decides your spot in the celestial hierarchy, what your new job and responsibilities will be, whether you're going to be a leader or a follower. The mass you built and the job you did here directly translates to your position over there. And that brings us all the way back to our camel. So it is difficult for a rich person, but not to get into heaven. It's difficult for them to claim the high-ranking position their massive energy should have given them. They had the potential, the mass. But because they failed their job on Earth, because they acted like a warehouse keeper, they arrive at the celestial world unqualified for the amazing role they were meant to fill. So this whole reinterpretation really leaves us with one big final question to think about, doesn't it? And it's not just for the rich. If we're all here in this cosmic training ground with a mission, what is your job? What is my job? And are we actually doing it?